Hello, 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 hello. It says I'm live, but I'm not sure. Gotta check something here. That's good. Could hear that in the parking lot. Hello. Okay, we're done. We're ready. Here we are. Welcome to the jungle. Yeah. All right. Well, if you've been watching the news at all at night, I don't know what you see because obviously I have a different news feed than you. I use primarily I'm using primarily the CNN International as my news feed, so I'm assuming you get a lot of the same stuff, but you never know. I got to start off. Well, maybe I'll finish with that. I'll finish with the first thing. But the deal is, people are saying, well, if they don't comply, we're going to bomb them. Why wouldn't Iran comply? You're making them rich. You lost the battle to save face. You're worried about your popularity and your, I guess it's the popularity polls, and how people perceive you and whatnot for the first time in your life, maybe. And that's why you made this deal. Okay, is it a good deal? If you're Iranian, it's a great deal. If you're an American, it's a so-so deal. You made a deal that gave them more than what they had before, so therefore we lost. And you never would have had to do any of this if you hadn't started the goddamn war in the first place. You're a moron. Your ego is so out of place in the real world. It has no fixture, it has no meaning. You're useless now. Okay, you're worse than a lame duck president. You're a hated president. God, I just don't know how that happened. And you're going to piss off some more people like me. Really piss me off. My wife's a naturalized U.S. citizen, and you want to take that away from everybody. You're a fucking moron. You know what the effect of that's going to be on Social Security, on unemployment insurance, on everything else that we do? You moron. Taking those people out of the economy you're just so stupid. It defies description. But of course, your wife is a naturalized citizen and she won't be affected by it. You scumlord, you idiot, you despicable human being. Really. Do I sound upset today? Yeah, because you're doing things that are personally affecting my family, and you're going to do things that are going to affect your family. You're just stupid. Lack of intelligence, no common sense whatsoever, no empathy for anybody except yourself. And sometimes I'm not even sure you have it for yourself. You walk around making you embarrass the crap out of you. Uh, embarrass the crap out of us at the G7. I mean, I heard that speech that you made at I guess a dinner or something like that. And it was like watching a cartoon being played backwards. You need to get out. You forced Biden into resigning. You need to resign. You're useless. They're keeping you around so they can blame shit on you. That's all. You get out of the office and they're all going to be held responsible for every dirty shit thing that happens from now on. Your little buddies over at the Supreme Court, they're just as bad as you are. They're limiting the government's ability to disarm drug dealers. Now you're going to see a lot of blood in the streets. You're just, once again, you're a moron. It's not drug users, it's drug dealers. People that they know are definitely dealing. You're going to let them keep guns. You're such a moron. Hard or tough on crime. Only if the crime affects you. If it affects the common person, you don't give a shit. And neither do those yo-yos that claim to be court justices. One of them's been profited more than even Trump has from it. You guys are just our type of government may not be working anymore, but it's not working because of the people that are in control of it. So we can't really tell if it's got its faults. But this is ridiculous. Okay, so now we're dealing with different things. Oh man. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I'm just very tired. Stayed up to watch the second half anyhow. The Colombian, I can't pronounce the team they played. Uh, and the best player that I saw, I mean, when I turned the game on, Colombia was leading 1-0. Then they tied the game, and then it looked like they were going to lose the game because that's the way they were playing. But then they went ahead, and they were still playing because it was 10 minutes in overtime or penalty time, whatever you call that. So anyhow, this little guy from Colombia comes down the near side of the field, chasing the ball, chasing a player that has the ball from the other team. They get it. He's thrown down. He gets up. He has the ball. He doesn't have the ball. He's fighting like hell for the ball. Finally, he gets a pass across the goal mouth, and one of his players just happens to be there free, jumps up, heads it in. That was the best performance Colombia did right there. That's how you win games like that. You don't give a shit that you're already winning the game and it's penalty time. You want more. That's how, especially in this game, because more means more points for you. All right? They don't understand that how many goals you score is critical to winning your section. It can be critical to winning the whole tournament until you get to the last game. But that's what they do. Colombia usually slacks off. This kid refused to die. He looked like a little kid. I got to tell you, that's heart. That's what the team needs. That's what the team hasn't had. That's what Colombian football hasn't had in the years I've been watching it. This guy was fantastic. He gave everything he had in that space of 40 seconds or something like that. And the game was already won. All he had to do is just keep the ball away. He could have kicked it out of bounds and given him a throw in and caused some more lost time for him. But he didn't do that. He fought. And he got the pass off, and they scored an extra goal. And that's the difference between them being in first place or second place right now in their division. All right? That's my opinion. And that's what they need to do in order to win this stuff. They don't play to win. They play to survive, and they're not as conditioned. I think Colombian athletes, and the thing is, these guys never play together, so you can't tell them they're clubs. There's no way a club, like they say, Nacional is like that. Nacional is some of the highest paid players are paid more than players on international teams. That's a mafia-backed team. It has been. It used to be. It was developed by Escobar. It's based on criminal money. It always has been. The games in Colombia are disgustingly. They just don't look real. I mean, guys are falling down and then jumping up because they're not hurt. That's the name of the game in soccer. You see these guys later on. Where's the scar for this nasty cut this guy supposedly gave you? Where's the bruise? Nothing. These guys don't bruise. They don't get cut. They don't get scars. Later on in the tournament, they will, because then it's for real. But these games are like club games right now. You watch a guy fall down. It looks like he's not getting up. The ref's calling out the stretcher and everything else. Next thing you know, he's running down the field, scoring a goal or something like that. You know, that's Colombian soccer. Uh, I didn't see the first half, so I don't know what went on in the first half because it was only 1-0 Colombia. It must have been a much tighter game. But these guys, the time of possession and the amount of shots that they got off, Colombia should have won the game by about 6 goals, not just 2 or 3. But I'm glad they won, and I like this guy a lot. This kid, he gave his heart. You don't see that too often from club level players or international players. You don't see them really giving it their all. He's giving it his all. He had nothing left after that. You know. Anyhow, moving right along. I said I was going to talk about this at the end. I got a question for you, and this question is asked a lot around the country, and I never get a satisfying answer from it. What do you think of the death penalty? Should we abolish the death penalty so killers get to spend the rest of their life in jail, and your tax dollars pay for that? Okay, just so you know, it's your tax dollars are paying for these people, and the privateers that run these jails get very rich. Okay, so and maximum security is even more expensive. My position with the death penalty has always been that they try to sell it as it's a deterrent to crime. It's not a deterrent to crime. It never has been. It probably never will be. Unless you can get shot right down in the street right away, that's a different story. If it's open season on, if you're accused of a crime, they could shoot you, then that's a different story. Maybe it will. But the way this death penalty is set up now, you've got 10 to 20 years sitting in prison, and if you're 50 years old, it's, what's the difference? If you're 60 years old, who cares? You're never going to serve out the sentence. It's ridiculous. My feeling about the death penalty is that if you're convicted of certain crimes, and it's not, and they want you to, like shooting a police officer or something like that. That depends on the situation. If he's shooting at you, you shoot at him, and he dies, that's self-defense, mutual combat. My feeling on the death penalty is simply this: if you abuse and rape and murder a child or a woman, or your crime is so heinous that people throw up when they see photographs of it, and it's a horrible crime, serial killers, people, and you're sentenced to death, very limited appeal, very limited appeal. But it's a punishment befitting the crime. And that's my attitude on the death penalty. It's never been a deterrent to crime. It doesn't stop anybody. In some cases, it'll increase the chances of them using the weapons that they carry. There have to be heavier penalties for crimes committed with weapons. If there's injuries or death, then the death penalty can come into it. I don't premeditated bullshit. I don't care if the guy shoots you in a gunfight. He shouldn't have had the gun, and he shouldn't have been in a fight with you. So therefore, if they say death, then it's death penalty. It's not a deterrent to crime, but it's a crime. It is a penalty deserving of the crime. Okay? That's my feelings about it. All right, that's it for me today. Hey, did I show you? I'm doing little mushrooms now. They're cool. They're easy. They're just my problem is depth perception when I'm using a knife to how close I am and everything like that. It's just my eyes are bad. Anyhow, that's it for me today. Do yourselves a favor. Complain to your congressmen and your senators about Trump and say it's time to get rid of him. Because once he's out, the rest of these clowns will be exposed. And once they're exposed, it'll be easier to get rid of them. But in the meantime, and that's on both sides of the aisle, folks, Democrats aren't angels. That's why I'm an independent. It allows me to pick and choose, you know. All right. Everybody take care. Have a great day. We will see you mañana Friday, folks. TGIF. Everybody take care. Where you going?